Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where you'll see I'm currently looking at Chile. I was running the clock forward to build up some political power, as I had discussed in the last episode, and a war in Chile broke out. There we go, we can see it just ended. I wanted to talk a bit about what happened in this war, because there was a bit of a question on what's going on here. So this state keeps rebelling and becoming communist, and then they rebel, and nothing happens, apparently, for a little bit. But what's actually happening is they're prepping a naval invasion right here. They naval invade here, and then all of this falls like a week later. And then the war's over. That's the whole thing. We'll see next time there's a war, I'll take a look at it, and we'll see if they follow that same pattern, but that's what they did in the last war. So, we'll see if that becomes a thing. Now, you'll see we've got 233 political power right now, and I believe we need to get a core going. Yes, that is very accurate. So let's get a core going there, and then we've got quite a bit of political power to try to do some purchases with. Let's see if we can get some of Germany. The answer is no, but maybe we can get some of France. Okay, excellent. Luxembourg? No. Ardennes? Yes. Excellent. And that moved on me. Okay, let's try this again, shall we? There's quite a lot of things that we can go for right now, so that's definitely interesting. Holstein would be next, and we got it. Then Hanover, and it moved again. Very obnoxious. Okay, Hanover. No. Well, maybe we can buy some of France. No, get out of here, Somalia. That is not going to be a thing. There we go. Fantastic. More of France. Yes. And then Lazio. We got it. Perfect. How about Venice? No. The Swiss Plateau. Perfect. And we're basically out of political power at this point, but we can get Württemberg, if they'll accept it, which they did, and that's perfect. So now we have a fair amount of constructions to do because we did get a number of locations there. So let's get all of that going. That was fairly successful, all things considered. So that's wonderful. We'll get some anti-air in over here. Perfect. So there's all of that ready to go. And then we probably need, we definitely need some coastal forts here. Specifically, we're going to need some over here. Is there a spot here? No, there's not. Okay. We'll need to wait for the autosave, and then we'll head on down here next. Wonderful. So that all looks good, and then down over here as well. Gotta get Rome defended after all. Perfect. So something along the lines of that. Then, of course, we need our civilian factories. Gotta replenish our money, right? So we'll just go through all of these. There's definitely a number of places over here in Eastern Europe to build in. And we're expecting quite a number of these that we need to build. No doubt about that, because we bought a lot of locations. That's going to cost a lot of civilian factories. So let's get all that built on up. Down here in Africa as well. That all looks good. Okay, over to the subcontinent. Wonderful. And into Eastern Asia. Let's get this done. Anything up here? Actually, yes, there is. Let's get that completed. And this over here. Wonderful. And then North America. Just about there. Excellent. So there's all of that. Good to go. Perfect. So that is a lot of construction. And now we, of course, have a decent amount of political power, and we can start rolling some of these again. So next up would be Piedmont. And we got it. The communist states of America are finally giving up Italy, except Venice. They really want to keep Venice for some reason. Let's see what we can get from Germany. Not that. But we got that. Perfect. Okay, we're definitely making solid progress over here in Western Europe now. And keep in mind, Western Europe is the last place that we can actually purchase, for the moment anyway. We'd need to fight the Allies. which is certainly going to be interesting. Unwilling to part with their land. Okay, fair enough. So we got a couple of provinces there anyway. So let's get ourselves some infrastructure built. Is this the only location that needs infrastructure? Wow. Okay. Well, we'll get all of the anti-air built anyway, and certainly some coastal forts right down through here. As soon as the autosave is over anyway. There we go. I don't think we need any other coastal forts at this time. So that looks great. Oh, look at that. We actually spent some civilian factories from there. That's interesting. So let's go through Africa real quick here. Excellent. And up over Anatolia way. Looks like there's, yep, some Aegean islands that need work. Perfect. Lots and lots of civilian factories going in here. So the war with Chile is definitely going to break out again fairly soon, right? It feels like it's about that timing. It definitely does. We'll take a look at that when it does break out, for sure. It's the only interesting thing happening in the world right now, other than our extremely slow and extremely... I'm going to go ahead and say tedious world conquest. This is the most tedious world conquest I've ever done, and I love it. So at this point, we're ready to do more purchases. We can try to buy Brabant from the Netherlands. No. Rhineland. Yes, surprisingly. Schleswig. Yes. Fantastic. How much France can we get here? A decent amount. The UK just declared war on the Great Iranian Empire. That's interesting. Because this is the Great Iranian Empire. How do they plan to get to it? That's my question. Are they going to park aircraft carriers here and then paratroop in? That's the only way. We're not giving them military access. I'm pretty sure we don't right now. And yeah, they're definitely working on that. But I'm pretty sure we're not giving them military access. Are we in this list? We are. We're going to cancel their military access. Get out of here. Hilarious. And I also want to make sure that they cannot base in our... Let's see. Okay, yeah. They cannot base at our ports. Perfect. So now they have no way to get here other than paratroopers. That's going to be entertaining. We'll see what ends up happening with that. While that's happening, can we buy additional France? Yes. Excellent. What's going on over here? Australian war on the Emirate of Transjordan. Okay, so Britain also declared out over here. Noted. That's fine. We will crush them eventually. Wait, these were members of the Allies. These are members of the Allies. The United Kingdom left the Allies. When did that happen? Now I want to fight the United Kingdom. There are definitely ways to do it. We could directly fight them or indirectly fight them. And we need to decide. So the UK does have territories like British Australia. They've got a bunch of islands. But yeah, I really, really want to fight the United Kingdom now. So that basically means that I want to check over here. Independence guaranteed. So I'm going to justify, once again, on somebody like... Well, we're already in position on Yemen, and they're guaranteed by the UK. So I do want to fight the UK now. I also want to get some better logistics down over here. So let's take a look at what we've got here. Yeah. I'm thinking right now that we would build a supply hub here And then we'd probably just motorize these other supply hubs. So we've got this one here and this one here. And then we can get some train upgrades. So we'll need to connect this down over here. There we go. And we'll get these upgraded, and we'll come in here, upgrade this. Connect this into our primary network, like that. And then connect this up and over into, I'm thinking into here, like that. And then make sure that we have a network connection up this direction. That is not where I wanted that to go, but okay. And then that would just connect into our primary network like this. So then that would come down over here, and that's now connected to our primary network. It's a little bit fragile, but that should be okay. So we're going to let that go, and now we need to save up 25 political power, because I want to justify on Yemen. Because I absolutely want to fight the United Kingdom at this point. So the United Kingdom holds a few islands around. They hold this. Yeah, it's going to be awkward, for sure. So we've got these Marines out over here. And I would like them, as soon as this autosave is over, the dawn of the British Concordat. Okay. So that's definitely noted. I kind of want to fight the British Concordat, to be honest. That'll clean up a lot of this. And with them out of the Allies, that means that we can continue to take over this territory. Keep in mind, we can't buy, to my knowledge, anything within the British Concordat at this moment. There's this that we cannot purchase. Why can't we purchase this? Because it's completely surrounded by single states. Okay. So there's this that we can't purchase. There's this that we can't purchase. Similarly, it's completely surrounded by capital states. So we can't purchase that. There's a bunch of islands. And that's kind of it at this point in the British Concordat. Other than this. Mandatory Palestine over here. So, yeah. That's very interesting. We'll see how this goes. Mandatory Palestine is not doing so well right now. But they'll probably be reestablished eventually, but the British Empire is not very strong. So that's absolutely noted. We're going to want to set up a lot of invasions. So an invasion corridor would go from somewhere around here over to here. And we'll assign all those over. They'll immediately start moving and preparing. That's okay. We'll need probably some form of naval control over there, so we can send one of our navies. We have significant navies at this point. We can send one of our navies out over to here. So I want them to change where they're docked at. I guess we could just have them come up and patrol this sea for right now. And that's just submarines there, which is probably good enough. So that seems fine, and then we're going to need to do a lot of naval invasions if we're going to fight them. No doubt about that. Mandatory Palestine is currently falling. I would not be surprised if they go away, at least temporarily. And there's that Chilean war. Okay, so what I want to do right now is I want to start justifying on these guys. They are currently guaranteed by the UK, which is kind of what we want to see at this point. So this is what I was talking about. This state rebels as the Chilean Socialist Republic. And then previously, they naval invaded right here. Let's see if they do that this time. Oh, this time they joined the British Concordat. That has an effect on the landscape. That's very good for us. Potentially. Because what that means is that when we fight the British Concordat, we would have a way into South America. That's a very big deal. Now, we wouldn't be able to buy this state, but we can get around it. And yeah, we can get around it. So we wouldn't be trapped there either. We'd be able to buy a large chunk of South America. The fall of Gibraltar. That's back in Spanish hands? American Spain. Wait, are the Allies in this war? They are. That then might not have an effect on the landscape. If they're going to handle all of the UK, then we don't need to. We can continue to buy in Europe. The UK has capitulated already. Okay. So, the Brussels Treaty was signed. So, this is part of American Bolivia now. So, this is back to the state where it was previously. But the UK... What is this now? Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka. Interesting. Very interesting. We could potentially justify on them. We're justifying right now, so this would be more expensive, and that's understood. So the entire Britain thing is kind of over at this point. But that does open up some opportunities for us. No doubt about it. Britain was the one that was blocking us previously. Now, I do want to continue to try to purchase some land here. But that definitely was a bit of a shakeup in the geopolitical situation here, and that's a good thing for us. We like a geopolitical shakeup right now because that means that we are able to get more territory, in theory. So we got a little bit of land there, and we can build up some of this infrastructure. So that's going to dramatically change the Chile situation. Those wars are over now. Those aren't going to happen anymore, which is a little bit sad. That's the end of an era, right? No doubt about that. The end of the perpetual wars for independence in Chile. But that's not going to happen anymore now that those are part of an independent nation. This is still all ally down over here, I believe, right? Well, actually, it's not. There's a Republic of Cayenne right here. That might give us an in. We can technically declare war on this. They're a single state province, or a single state country, and we can declare war on that, and then that would give us an in to purchase South America. And then the only major continent that we wouldn't have any holdings on would be Australia, but the British Concordat is here. So the UK and the British Concordat still exist. French Australia, American Australia. That's very interesting for sure. Okay. That's a significant change strategically to the way that alliances are set up. I think our next plan absolutely has to be an invasion of the Republic of Cayenne. How do we get there? Well, we've got 3 Z-zones here to get there. So I'm going to change... Wait, this is a Canada popular state again? That's, or rather now? That's interesting. But they're part of the Allies. So I'm going to remove this, and we're going to change this naval invasion plan to being from here to here. So as I said, that crosses 3 sea zones, which makes things a little bit awkward, to be sure. I want these guys to stop operating in the English Channel, please. And I want them to come operate here. And then I want these guys to operate over here, not in the English Channel. And then I want these guys to operate over here, not in the English Channel. And then patrol for all of these. Okay. There we go. So our ships are going to come over, and we're going to try to get control right here. It shouldn't be very hard because we're not at war. So in theory, that should be fine. We have large ships on low strength. Really? That's interesting. Okay, so that's fine for now, but we do want to get more purchases going here. Aquitaine. No. Poitou. No. Palestine? Ooh. Yes, we got Palestine. Jutland? No. Finn? This is now American Denmark. Did they change their capital? No, it's still Copenhagen. Okay. So that's understood. So we got a few there, and we can definitely maybe get some infrastructure going. I say maybe because it looks like it's already built. Anti-air down over here seems good. And that's kind of all we've got. And then some coastal forts up over here. So there's only so much of Denmark we can actually take over because of Copenhagen. We cannot purchase a capital state. So that's understood. We need some coastal forts down over here. There we go. And then, of course, we're going to need to build some civilian factories. So let's get those going. We have idle civilian factories right now, so we definitely need to get some of those running here. Excellent. So we're just about to the point where we no longer have idle civilian factories. We'll probably get there by the time we get all of these queued up, would be my guess. Yeah, we'll definitely get there. Okay, so there's Africa completed. We can head over through here. Excellent. Anytime the autosave wants to finish, that would be great. Okay, we need this here. There we go. And through here, we need a number of these as well. Excellent. And then down over this way. So we're going to take over Yemen, and then the plan is to take over Cayenne pretty quickly. And without the UK blocking us, hopefully, well, it will be fine. It'll be absolutely fine. We will fight the UK if we fight Yemen. And that's absolutely okay. The UK is still part of their faction. They're part of the British Concordat faction. So it's only the UK and the Dominion of Australia, which is this little chunk of Australia, which would allow us to take over everything in Australia except these two states. So that's absolutely wonderful. That's very good. We have an in for every continent without fighting the Allies now. Again, I'm not scared of fighting the Allies. We would win that. I just don't want to. This is a PAX campaign, right? We only want to declare war if we have no other choice. And the definition of that is that they're down to just their capital and we need to get them taken over. We don't have a diplomatic way to do that in this game. So that's the only situation under which we are allowed to declare war. And I would prefer not to get involved with fighting the Allies for now. Okay, we managed to get one state there. Did we get Venice? We got Venice. Okay. Well, that's something anyway. So that looks good. That's the entire list for now. We're on cooldown. And let's just continue to build some infrastructure in some of these new areas if we need it. We don't. And any anti-air? Yes, we do. Excellent. I think we should have some coastal forts. Yeah, down over here we've got a couple. And up here we've got a couple. Excellent. Oh, and over here too, Venice. Yeah, that would make sense. So that looks good. Those are all online now, and we would then need to get some additional factories. There's not going to be that many factories that we need to do this time. Most of what we asked for was declined there, unfortunately. But Europe is continuing to fall under our sway, and that's excellent. And we have plans here. Oh, look at that. Argentina just joined the British Concordat. That changes our plan a bit, I think. It does. It does change our plan a bit. No doubt about it. So we would have to invade down this way, which is significantly harder for us, or perhaps from Galapagos. We do have a naval base there. So I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to have these guys planning to invade from Galapagos down into Argentina in the south here. That's going to be spicy, no doubt about it. 1, 2, and 3 sea zones. So it's the same number of sea zones. So let's pull these guys over. There we go. Because now we need to attack down here instead of up here, if we want to fight these guys. So, yeah, the British Concordat is definitely going to be crushed by us, and our plan is going to be to take over everything from them. Did we get all of our civilian factories queued up there? I didn't think so. We were kind of distracted by that, because that definitely changes the plan. That gives us an in on all continents from just this Yemeni war. And that's a big deal. That is a very, very big deal. So we'll get all of these factories queued up, but it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to fight for Yemen, which is going to pull in the British Concordat, which means that we're going to be able to attack Argentina, and this is going to be potentially a little awkward down here. We're going to need to push up to this naval base as quick as we can, or build our own down here, but we'll see how that ends up going. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members. By the way, I'm not going to advance time this time, because we don't think that we're in a position where just nothing is going to happen. Things are going to happen from here on out. A very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge, STL, Rornaz, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.